How can we define the strongest supply zones?
How can you define the strongest supply zones? Where inside here?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good question. That's actually the exercise, the webinar that we did about finding the fresh levels inside there, right? So as I mentioned, kind of what you have in here on the high, I think on that webinar I mentioned is around 3 levels that usually price reacts from. So let's pretend that this is the left shoulder. When price is about to break a high, there's always some kind of decision, right, that needs to be done. So it breaks it, and usually there's going to be some kind of demand zone in alignment with this level. Can be a little bit underneath the high, can be a little bit of structure above the high. You need to find that structure, right? I think on Euro index we just saw something like that happening as well, and then price goes up, eventually creates the higher high, and now it starts moving down, and now there's 2 barriers in here, right? So at this point, it's going to be between this low, kind of the demand zone, and the high, and price is going to be fighting in between here. So the sellers and the buyers are going to be in a battle in here. Eventually, price is going to make a decision that will go up or go down. In this case, we're going to make it to go down, right? So let's pretend price goes down. Let's pretend that's maybe some kind of supply in there, in here, and after that, price kind of goes up. Tries to attempt it, and this is the final attempt. This is something that I have been mentioning. When you have that final push up, trying to kind of break the high and continue to go higher, but instead price actually goes down and it breaks some kind of lows in here. This is one of the most important levels. This is maybe this level in here that I'm talking about. And eventually price is going to retest this level. It's going to be in the bottom in here and eventually breaks through. It breaks through this demand zone, and this becomes another one. So 2-3 important levels in here is going to be, as I mentioned, this one, where you have that final attempt, that kind of final push of price trying to break the higher high, but instead it actually kind of get rejected in breaks in here. So we see kind of a strong bullish candle, and then maybe a rejection straight away. If this is maybe on 1 minute, maybe you see a strong bullish candle, maybe a little bit of a candle, 1 to maybe candles dodges, and then price down. On the 5 minutes, maybe all these 5 candles, they may just look out like a doji. Price goes up, spikes, and goes down, and maybe closes down. So it kind of, that's usually maybe the shape of it on the 5 minutes, or maybe 15 minutes, and 1 minute and 5 minutes, you can see the battle in there, the fight in there. So this becomes one of the best zones, this one. The other one is going to become, of course, the supply that managed to break this previous demand in here. So this level in here, and if this supply is not in alignment with this low, with the kind of the support resistance of this fast move to the upside, price can still usually react quite nicely from this level. Sometimes we have this supply level actually in alignment with this one, can give it a little bit more strength if that's actually exactly on the same spot in alignment with that, right? So, and then as I mentioned, pay attention to see anytime we're moving away from this, if price retraces and goes there or not, or if price by any chance, maybe price can just do this, retest now this previous level of support, can now become resistance, and in this case we're going to have with these orders behind in here, and maybe there's still 3 orders behind in here as well. So now this level and this level is going to be the zones to look for price to go react to in the future. So okay, so this is usually we're going to find out those orders, right? And more often than not, now we start creating Quasimodos. Maybe you create a new low in here, price goes up, touch it, goes down, and now you have this Quasimodo in here for the future. Okay, so anytime, so basically the origin of a Quasimodo is this: is we have a supply level, we have price moving away from the supply level, right? Kind of price going to like this, it creates, goes down, you have the supply, and now this high, instead of making the normal move to a supply level respected and go down, what is going to occur is that price is going to stop halfway there. Like it's not really going to feel this move, this space, it's going to stop in here. And now what we have, as I mentioned so many times, now we have space. Now there is space in between this high and the supply, and this is a new space that needs to be filled, maybe in the future. Maybe price can even just now, maybe just retrace, still respect now this level and goes down. Eventually in the future, this becomes the new level that you want to see price going to and to be faked out, right? So this one may become the new the left shoulder. So this in here can become a new left shoulder for the future. Price eventually going to pretend like it's being respected. Now creates the fake out, and now retraces, and now you can start looking for trade. Now this supply in here, this fake out, sorry, is reacting from the fresh level. So it's important, right? If this high maybe it's not reacting from the supply, if this high maybe it's just coming here, reacting maybe something like this, there's maybe a chance that price still wants to go to the supply. So even if you do this, maybe price still wants to go there. But if by any chance, if price actually goes and on the way up, now does the move, reacts from the supply and now goes down. In alignment with this red line, now I don't have more space in my monitor, but in alignment somewhere in here, that's where maybe you can start looking for a new sell, right? So anytime you have a high or a low kind of a high that doesn't go all the way back to respect maybe the previous level of support resistance or the supply level, this high eventually in the future is going to become a left shoulder, because eventually price is going to fake out that level, and that can originate then in alignment can originate an opportunity to sell in alignment with this high after the fake out occurs. Okay, so this is usually how you start seeing Quasimodos being created, and you see this type of price action everywhere, every single time. Okay, this is exactly how price moves in here, everywhere basically. So yes. Because then it plays out liquidity, right? Price is taking liquidity from this one, goes there, fakes out, and then can go down, and then to collect the stop losses from everyone in here, and so on and so forth. And now can kind of reverse the orders that were left behind in here. Now can they be collected after the fake out, and so on, so on, so on, so on, so on. So yes, to answer your question, where is the best levels to look for the supply levels? 1, 2, 3. Yep, and I have weeks as well. Any other question about the Quasimodo?
Okay, thank you, Pedro.
Was it clear?
Yes, really clear.